What's up, my ninjas? I am Strident, and today we are looking at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series, quote-unquote, Maidens of Might. The Scarlet Witch, finally, and Captain Marvel. These are figures that I actually have been waiting for a long time. They're two of the few Marvel Legends figures that I actually really wanted, and I'm actually pretty impressed with them to a point. I'm more impressed with Captain Marvel, who they seem to constantly get right. Hasbro, both versions, you know, this version and the Warbird version, pretty well done, and they're like kind of standout figures. Mine, everything is almost perfect. I was like, wow, seriously? You guys saw the video where I was getting a prescription, and my son and I found, you know, these two in retail. Since then, I've seen all of the waves at Target, just about. The Scarlet Witch, she's really cool because she's such a freaking huge improvement over the Toy Biz version that we got years ago, which that figure in itself, I don't understand why it's so... How did it end up so bad? I mean, the preliminary or prototype images showed a way better figure, and then we got what we got. So this here is like a much needed update to a character that we all need, you know, that's relevant in our Avengers teams. She is bad. Oh my god. They really made her sexy so that she doesn't look stupid in this outfit. And it's kind of like what I was saying in the character design video that I did. You can't just put someone in a costume and then be like, okay, that's the character. You have to make the body actually feel like the costume and the person are one to some degree, you know, like the mannerisms, the posture, the stature, the proportions, all have to make all the parts of the costume feel like it's deliberate. It has to be there. This is the character, and they succeed with this with her. She feels, you know, she doesn't feel like a kit bash like so many of these figures feel. Even though, you know, she does have a lot of parts that are, you know, reused parts, but the new pieces, you know, the unique sculpt pieces are so well done and so, you know, well thought out that they make this figure feel like a whole different, you know, figure, you know. As for Captain Marvel, man, I love this costume. I loved it the first time I saw that image, which is just like this, except she wasn't wearing the mask. But I love it because it's a real, full-on, well thought out superhero costume for a woman, and it's not like her, you know, her boobs and her belly and her you know, vagina and everything is sticking out. You know how they love to do with a lot of characters. I know I'm exaggerating when I say vagina, but I mean, a lot of female heroes are like almost naked. You know what I mean? Everything is showing out, even though if they're wearing a superhero costume, the costume fits so tight it could be body paint. You know what I mean? So like, realistically, nothing is left to the imagination, even if you cover up the character. It's just theoretically covering them up, you know, giving them a full-on costume with the design and everything. It's more interesting to look at. I mean, I love naked women, don't get me wrong. It's one of the greatest things on the planet. But when it comes to superheroes, form and function still have to exist or coexist, you know? And a lot of times that's not what we get, but this is one of those times where we got it. She looks badass, she looks determined, she looks like an Avenger. She looks like someone that could stand next to Captain America and not look cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't a big fan of the old Warbird costume because it's just like Psylocke. It's just like her other costume when she was binary. I don't like just the bathing suit thing with gloves and a sash. It just seems cheap and cheesy to me. You know what I mean? Like, it looks good because, once again, her body actually makes the suit look more believable and more like a full-on superhero suit, but she needed a costume, like a full-on costume. This girl flies into space. She fights aliens, she fights monsters, she fights whatever, and she can't do it in that little, you know, bikini or bathing suit one piece thing about. She needs a real suit. Now, as far as the figures go, we all know it's the Moonstone body, almost verbatim. The face, the head sculpt is even the Moonstone head sculpt with, you know, different paint. And you could flip them around. It doesn't look horrible, but the black doesn't match the colors that are on the Captain Marvel suit. But, you know, once she's got her mask on and everything, she just looks like a spacefaring hero. You know what I mean? Like, she's just ready to take on whatever weirdness you want to throw at her. And, you know, that's what I was looking forward to. Her articulation, I'm not going over articulation because it's the same for almost all these figures, so I'm just going to overview it like I'm doing. Her articulation is pretty good. It's just, I mean, obviously it's not, you know, Figma or SH Figuarts level, but it's good enough to get a lot of those comic book-ish poses, you know, flying poses, like powerful flying poses like you see here and the next image. You can get those with no problem. You know, just making her look up so she can look ahead when she flies. She can look up a decent deal. She doesn't. For whatever reason, the female figures do not have the ball hinge headpiece, you know, on their neck. So she can only look up so much, but it works. She looks cool with the rest of the Avengers. Actually, both of them look cool with the rest of the Avengers, no matter how you mix up your team. Although you need to, in my opinion, a lot of the figures look better with the core characters being your comic book accurate ones. A lot of times when you mix these guys up. But the movie ones are so close to those designs that it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still look very cool together. And it doesn't matter. And you can mix and match your Marvel Selects and your Marvel Legends, depending on which figures it is that you are doing that with. Obviously, use the bigger ones. But, you know, I'm really happy with her, you know. The Scarlet Witch especially, because I didn't know, in my mind, I had a picture of what she would look like amongst the rest of the team. But I didn't know for sure if she actually was going to look good with the rest of the team, and she does. And Captain Marvel, I already knew she would look awesome, you know. She's got a good mixture of, you know, qualities for that work. This suit could work in a movie just like this, you know. But Scarlet Witch, man, this body, she's got this slender supermodel, like athletic supermodel build, and I really like it. It really works. You know, her Nightwalker, her Lady of the Night boots actually work with this body type, and the fact that she's got the pink tights. It doesn't make her as slutty. The problem that I have with the figure, and this is what keeps it from being perfect, is that they didn't bother to engineer the figure. So, you know, her hands look good, the legs look good, the torso looks good, the head is amazing. I especially like on the torso, the subtle muscularity of that torso. It's freaking amazing. It's nice. It's like girls that, like dancer muscles, you know what I mean? But they gave her the Emma Frost high heels, and she can't stand because her cape is too heavy mixed with those high heels. You would think by now they would have figured out to make a different kind of high heel that allows her feet to flatten out. Or give her flat, you know, soles like Captain Marvel. But I understand they were going for the sexy approach. But in going for that sexy approach, you you screwed up your figure because now she can't stand unless you have a stand or unless you lean her against the cape in some kind of way. Now, I've pointed this out before. I've reviewed figures from, you know, import figures that have high heels and can stand. Case in point, Kamen Rider Femme or Siren. She has high heels. And she can stand up because they actually sculpted enough of her foot flat so that she can actually stand up on those heels. Even if the heels went up higher and she still had the flat front of her foot, she would still be able to support her own weight and stand up on her own. When are the people at Hasbro going to do this? Moving on to Captain Marvel. She has the energy effect from Jubilee. I think this was first used with Marvel Girl years ago when Hasbro first got a hold of the Marvel Legends, line. It kind of works. I don't remember her powers looking like this, so it kind of feels cheap. And, it's a kind of a cheesy, let's put some hot glue all over their hands and blah, blah. I'm not a big fan. I mean, I made it work in that image, but, and I'm sure a lot of you guys could make it work, but nah. These two essentially are supposed to be one slot in the wave. So they come with, one comes with, Thor parts, King Thor parts, the other one comes with Odin parts. The parts are pretty much the same for the most part, especially the capes. The staff is cool. The heads are actually well sculpted. I'm still contemplating if I'm even going to bother getting them, because it feels like blasphemy to own a Sentry figure, because I keep seeing him in the store, and I know at some point I'm going to end up having to buy him if I want to finish these guys. The axe is actually pretty nice. That's going straight to my Masters of the Universe classics. The giant staff, though, is the thing I like the most. I like the detail on it. It could have used some paint, as with so much of what Hasbro is releasing these days. It could have used a lot of paint. But it's a beautiful sculpt. It looks like what we've seen Odin with in the movie and in the comics and cartoons and such. It's just nice detailing, nice sculpt work, nice detailing, and it will look nice in the hands of your Odin Build-A-Figure if that's who you choose to build. I wish that the box didn't have the whole, one side is, the Scarlet Witch and the other side is Captain Marvel, and it just says Maidens of Might, because if you see them from the left or the right, you'll assume that they're all the same unless you've been researching this stuff. And if I hadn't looked twice, then I wouldn't have noticed that, both of these characters were there, because I thought it was just a whole bunch of Captain Marvels. But having them in hand, I really like them. I'm glad that we got them. It's probably the best thing that, in my opinion, that Hasbro has done in a long while. And I don't know, there's not too much else I can say about them. The paint was superb on these guys. I had no slop. And if there is slop, it's so minute that whatever, my eyes don't even give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at them and they just look good from most angles. The only criticism I could say is that, the unmasked head on my Captain Marvel is her eyes are kind of aimed upward, but, I would take pictures of her from angles where she doesn't look like she's looking up. But besides that, they're beautiful figures. Beautiful figures. Some of the best female figures as far as superheroes go that we've gotten in a long time, and definitely on my top, in my top 5 best figures of, Hasbro's run with Marvel Legends. So if you see these guys, definitely pick these guys up. You will be happy with them. Believe the hype if you hear all these other people, kind of hyping them up, because these guys are truly worth it, and these ladies, they're definitely worth it. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm Strident, and this has been my review of the Marvel Legends Maidens of Might, which are the Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers version. And they're just awesome figures. I hope you dug the video. Check out my other ones. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace outside.